Hello there. What is going on, everybody? Major news today. X-Wing Atomic, the definitive edition. I was sent some slides from an anonymous source of a recent presentation Atomic Mass Games had to give to Asmodee Corporate. This has something to do with the big buyout and Gamma all kind of being in recent proximity and talking about their future for the game X-Wing, especially with all of the changes they've been making. It seems like 2.5, the rule set of 2.5 edition, may have just been more of a public beta test for some further plans that are going to culminate in an all-new edition, which they're calling X-Wing Atomic. What is going on, everybody? If you guys are new here to the channel, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, like the video, share the video. Again, the subscribe button is going to be located down below. You want to click that. It's right below today's date, and down there you can also click in the show more and click some of the links if you want to join our Discord or any of that great stuff. We've got a lot of links down there. Head over to Crabbok.com. We've got a lot of resources over there as well. But definitely, let's talk about these slides because they are pretty. Now, this was taken during a presentation by an unnamed board member that did not like the way that AMG was taking this. But we're going to have to see. As you can see here, they do have a new core set coming, and it's pretty telling. When I first looked at this, I thought this looked much like the second edition core set, but clearly they've changed a couple of things. They've changed a little bit of the coloring and some of the layout, but they've kept the similar kind of black and some of the same art to kind of, I think they're trying to keep it recognizable. They want players to know that this is still X-Wing. But one big change is you'll notice you're not actually able to see the X-Wing and the two TIE fighters that come in here. And is it even two TIE fighters since they show a TIE Advanced on the box? But it looks like that's the sprue is kind of showing. So it looks like X-Wing is now going to be on a sprue with their new edition, which is pretty interesting. And if they're calling it the definitive edition, it's unclear whether or not 2.0 and 2.5, 1.0, if there will be any conversion kits, because this doesn't say anything about conversion kits. So here's some of the notes. So if you're just listening, I'll read it off to you. It says, new core set coming fall 2022, hard plastic frames. Of course, that's AMG. They use the word frames instead of sprues. That's how you know this is authentic. A revamped rule set, new scenarios, and core set MSRP $199.99. So $199.99. That is like a 400% something increase in the retail cost currently. So that's massive. That's a massive change. That's an atomically massive game changer. Pardon the dad joke pun, but that's I'm curious, like, how big is this box? Is this like as big as like the Descent box? Are we getting like a whole fleet in here, or are we just getting the 3 ships? This one doesn't tell us, but it does give us some more stuff. So they had, obviously questions to answer to the board, like why a whole new edition. So for here they have old rules were boring and predictable. Players wanted more chaos. So AMG is saying that their players have been reaching out to them. They want more chaos in the games, and they certainly do seem to like some of the chaotic things that we have seen coming. I like that graphic there. So the next one, why hard plastic frames? And it says, players often repaint their ships. No reason to waste paint at factory. That is interesting, and I guess it's meant to be a cost-saving measure. They certainly have done that before. Next bullet point says, players love to work with their hands. That makes sense. We certainly do game with our hands. We roll dice with our hands. We move our miniatures with our hands. And then also tactical rocks, in parentheses, asteroids, on all ships. So now they can do kind of a tactical asteroid. So if you guys are familiar with Marvel Crisis Protocol or any of the miniatures that AMG does, they put a tactical rock. They basically have every character standing on a rock. Even the new Boba Fett for Star Wars Legion is standing on a rock, whereas a normal Legion doesn't usually do that. There's only like 1 or 2 characters that are like posed perched on a rock or something like that, because a lot of players, especially hobbyists, want to kind of do their own basing and don't necessarily want AMG doing 100% of their basing for them. I personally usually prefer to do my own basing, but since X-Wing's not like on the the ships aren't on the base, does that mean that like the ship itself is going to be like flying over an asteroid? And so we could get some more dynamic type of miniature looking, which might, I don't know if that'll be as compatible though. We'll have to see as more information becomes available. Next one, the rules. So they get into some of the rule changes here too. Atomic Edition rules, list building. List building, first bullet point says, building for advantage was a major problem in the past. They have talked about that, actually, in some of the earlier streams. They talked a lot about how they didn't like how players could sort of build a list for an advantage to help them try and win, and to take advantage of like weaknesses in their opponent's list. It says, players will now be given a random list at the start of each game. And the next one says, veteran players can no longer exploit new players by building a list that could exploit a weaker opponent. So that's pretty significant. Not being able to build your own list anymore is a massive change. Although this guy seems to really like it. So he seems pretty happy about that. So they definitely got the pictures right in there. He's overjoyed. He must be one of those newer opponents. Atomic Edition rules movement. So here, this guy's very happy about this too. He's like, finally, we are getting rid of the ability to easily predict movement, increasing the fun factor. So again, they did talk a lot about wanting to, wanting to like keep the dials kind of sacred, which is really interesting. And they, of course, they like, chaos. So before revealing dials, your opponent can place your ship anywhere within range 1 of its current location. This is really interesting. So you talk about road. Maybe road was the precursor to this. So now you don't know which way you're going to be facing, where you're going to be located, if dialing in any move is going to potentially put you off the board. This is, and then the last bullet point that says this creates a dynamic game. This is going to be very dynamic. It's going to be much more difficult to predict where you're going to be. That is interesting. That's very interesting. So we have another slide here for Atomic Edition rules winning. She is definitely winning. She's very happy right now. She's overjoyed. Too often, veteran players will win games. New players need to win too. I get that that's definitely part of what they have been trying to make happen. Next bullet point says, when a ship is destroyed, it may roll an attack die. On a critical, it crashes into its attacker, taking them down 2. Oh, so it's like, all right, kill me if you want, because I might fly my ship directly into you, collide with you, and take us both out. So I see what they're doing there. The next bullet point says, at the end of the game, each player rolls 3 dice. The most critical results will be the winner. This raises the skill floor for victory. Well, I think they meant to say lowers the skill floor. I think what they're saying here is like they wanted new players to have a chance to win. And so now even if you lose, you still have a chance to come back. So you're never really out of it. Because once the game is over, you could still, potentially win. If, I guess that means like plot armor. Like if you're, like you should have still lost, but we made it to where you won anyway. Like that, or maybe the force was with you. And even though you were, destroyed by your opponent, you still managed to win. So I think that's what they're going on with this one. But we'll have to see a little bit more, because like, what if no player rolls a crit? Then what happens? Or then does the winning stand as is, right? Like whoever would have won. That's so we have more questions for sure. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe we can get the devs to come on the show and to talk about the new rules with a little more detail. We have some information on the new scenario here for tower defense. X-Wing needs to be more scenario-based. So it says the new tower defense scenario recreates the thrill of turbo laser towers shooting down Star Wars ships. Tower defense will be the standard tournament format. So you can see here they've got turbo lasers. So there's obviously new plastic coming. Turbo laser towers firing down at the Ghost here, it looks like. It says players place towers instead of controlling ships. So I'm really curious how this will work. If we're placing towers, that's usually how a tower defense game works, or you're placing turbolaser towers, or you're placing towers, I should say. And so will, like, the X-Wing ships, will there be an AI? Because I know there was some AI stuff for, like, the Squid ship and all of that. And will they just follow a certain track and you build around them? Maybe you draw a track at the beginning of the game and that's where you can build around. Or, you know, I'm curious if the ship's movement is going to be predictable, or if that is also going to follow the same rules where we can pick it up and move it. And what kind of, like, and how do we know which towers are whose? I have so many more questions about this, but this definitely seems like a big shakeup to the game. But the fact that it will be the standard tournament format means that maybe this might be the only scenario you play in tournaments. So maybe, like, there's just going to be nothing but tower defense players. That's going to be very interesting, at least for the standard games. And so, yeah, and it says tower defense is coming. This is going to be in 2023, so this is a year away. It's coming the 1st of April, 2023, 2023. So that's still a long ways away. So we'll have a little bit of time. So if the new core set gets this, comes out in November, then we will probably have, a couple months before, to kind of practice with it before having to learn the new standard tournament format of tower defense. It also says distributors, get your orders in early. So yeah, that's it. That's all the slides we've got. I don't know if there were any more. If there are any more, like, expansion art or what else is coming with this wave. But of course, as we learn more, we will be bringing it to you. But once again, here's that new box art. That is pretty wild that they're doing. I think I want to hear from you guys. What is the biggest change that shocks you the most out of all of this? Because this is certainly some big changes. But maybe it doesn't feel as big considering we got already so many. Do you think that it's the sprues or the list building, the movement? The chaos. There's definitely some chaos in here. Maybe the tactical asteroids on the ships. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Also, I'd love to have you guys join the Discord. We got links in the video description. But that is going to do it for today's video. Of course, we'll be bringing you more information as it becomes available. I want to thank you guys so much. Be sure and make sure you like the video, share the video, check out the date the video is posted. That's important. And all the other things. I will talk to you guys later. I want to thank you so much. And as always, may the Force be with you.